A Michigan Replay exclusive in the locker room with the Wolverines as they scaled the summit and got to the top of the mountain. An undefeated season, a 20-14 win over Ohio State. Coach Carr, congratulations.
Thanks, Jim.
It's quite an achievement.
Yeah, it was a great season, great kids, a lot of fun every day going to practice and to staff meetings. We had a great time.
The staff meetings were fun?
Yeah, for me anyway. I don't know about
you really
the
have
coaches.
had a good year, haven't you?
The coaches probably wouldn't agree with that, but I had a lot of fun.
But what about the emotion of a season that you had the toughest schedule in the country, according to some, and the kids responded each week, and against Ohio State on Saturday got the big victory to make it all realized?
Well, Jim, anytime you have that kind of an undertaking, you better have guys that are willing to work to prepare each week, because on that schedule, we looked at it at the beginning, the very first meeting of the year, and there wasn't a game on there we couldn't win, but there were also a lot of games on there that we could lose. And so we vowed that right from the beginning we would focus in every week and take each game as it came.
Against Ohio State in the early going, they moved the ball a little bit on the ground on you, but you never really broke.
Well, Jim, they ran the draw play extremely well. Pepe Pearson had some success early in the game, and Stanley Jackson is a very mobile guy, and he gave us some problems scrambling around.
You stopped him there on a third down, but on the other way, Ohio State was playing great defense.
Jim, when you look at the statistics of this game, it's a defensive coordinator's dream and probably an offensive coordinator's nightmare.
Eric Wilson here makes a great play, causes a fumble. Glenn Steele gets on it. First big break of the game, but you really can't get anything out of it.
Well, Jim, we had problems really until about 5 minutes to go in the second quarter moving the ball. We hit a couple of passes, hit a couple of runs, but we did not sustain anything all along. They pressured us all day long.
And it was a blitz almost every down, wasn't it?
Jim, they made up their mind that they were not going to let us run the football. They had 9 guys on the line of scrimmage. And so there were 2 great defenses out there in the first half.
This is your touchdown drive, and this is a nice drive, the best of the day.
Well, we hit Aaron Shea, and he breaks a tackle up there and gets us a first down. And then on a third down play, Brian scrambled around with a great block from Chris Floyd and hits Charles down the field, and we're in good field position for the first time in the entire game. Then
you get a great run from your fullback and a little trap.
Jim, we hit the trap play, and Chris has had a lot of success with that the last 3 or 4 weeks, and on a good run gets us inside the 5-yard line.
Then you pound it home and take the early lead.
Well, we had a decent block, and Anthony cut the ball backside and got into the end zone. And after the way we've played offensively, we feel good to be up 7-0.
Zach Adamy also got a big block on that play, and then your defense continues to play big. Fizel here with a sack.
Jim, we did a good job with kickoff coverage, got good field position, and then a sack, and then they're punting from pretty deep in their own territory.
And how about this guy?
Jim, Bartholomew is a guy that punts the ball better than anybody I've seen in years, and he out-punted his coverage. We get a couple of great blocks from Ian Gold and Leandre Brown, and of course, Charles doesn't need much in the open field.
Well, and you put some new people on the punt return team to do that.
Bobby Morrison looked at our, we've had problems at the punt return all year long. He made some switches, and I think it really paid off.
Now, after the touchdown, you get the kick blocked, and this is a big play. Katzenmoyer can get 2 points the other way. What an effort by Rob Sweat.
Jim, Katzenmoyer is the fastest linebacker in the Big Ten. And Rob Sweat, I think he symbolized the kind of effort that we played with, the kind of leadership, because he made a tremendous play and saved us 2 points.
At the first half, leading 13-0, what was your feeling going into the locker room? Did you think, all right, we got the lead, the crowd's in it, we're in good shape?
Well, I felt like our kicking game was outstanding. We had to continue to cover punts and kickoffs well. But I told them there would be no quit in that locker room across the hallway. And what we needed to do was get them stopped on that first drive and get some points on the board. We had a good lead. The only way we could lose that game is to turn the football over or give up a big play.
Well, he just told you what almost happened in the second half. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Wolverines' victory in the second half. But first, we hear about how the Wolverines did it defensively from the king of the day, Charles Woodson.
We kept pressure on them all day. I mean, that's been a testament to Coach Herman all year. He likes to play aggressive football. He likes us to play aggressive. He calls those type defenses. So that allows us to get after those guys. And the front line, they do such a great job. I mean, you can't really put into words what they do for this team. But they did a great job in sacking Jermaine and Jackson all day. And when you have people playing like that, you can't lose.
Wolverines lead Ohio State 13-0 at half. Coming out for the second half, Coach. You kick to them, and the last thing in the world you want to have happen is for them to get any momentum at all.
Well, Jim, we did a great job in the opening drive, and then they lined up the punt, and we had a defense call where we could have stopped the fake. We missed a tackle, and now they get great field position and a momentum change.
At this point, I thought momentum was going to change, because following that, they hit a big pass down the middle.
Jim, they get off the option fake. He hits a post pattern down inside the 10-yard line, and now it's exactly what you don't want.
But this is where big players make big plays, and your guy did.
Jim, this guy, the great players come up in big games, and that's what Charles has done really since he's been at Michigan. He's had an interception in every Ohio State-Michigan game he's played in.
You still can't get going offensively as they continue to blitz, but then your defense steps up and makes the difference right here.
Well, Jim, they made the difference all day long. They harassed the quarterback, and of course here, with great second effort, they continue to get after Stanley, and he makes a mistake. And Andre Weathers makes him pay.
And Andre Weathers doesn't get enough credit for the cornerback he's played opposite Woodson, does he?
Jim, that's the one real question mark on our defense going into the season, and Andre Weathers has had an all Big Ten caliber season.
And offensively, you still can't move. Ohio State was, I thought, outstanding.
They were outstanding defensively. We had some guys up front, particularly, that got banged up, and we just could not move the football against that defense.
And here's the one big play, and this is the one with 4:50 left to play in the third that really turned momentum around, got them back in it.
Jim, it's that kind of play in this game that can really change the momentum, and that's exactly what it did. Just like a year ago, Streets' big play changed the momentum in that game.
But you start to move the ball on the ground, and I thought this was going to be a typical Michigan drive that closed things out and used some clock.
Well, that's what we were hoping to do, and then they get great penetration. They stunted and blitzed all day long. They hit Anthony really before he had control of the ball, forced the fumble, and now our defense is back on the field.
But the defense comes through. After the turnover, they sack Jermaine, and they force Ohio State to kick it away.
Our guys up front played hard just like they have all year long, but we had great coverage. I thought we did a great job against their touted receivers.
But this play, again, puts them right back in it.
Jim, we're third down, deep in our own territory, went back to pass, got blitzed, and Brian got stripped. And you probably, if you had it to do over again, with our defense playing the way they were, we should have just punted the ball.
Well, they make it 20-14, and there's some folks in Ann Arbor breathing pretty heavy.
Jim, I was breathing pretty heavy, too.
Defensively, though, they get the ball back, you stop them.
We did a great job against the play that had hurt us earlier in the game. And, Jim, our kicking game continued. Jason Vinson has done an outstanding job for us all year long, and here he got a punt that got a good roll and gave our defense great field position to close it out.
And you had to close it out because they had less than a minute left and fourth down, and boy, your secondary does another great job.
We had people all over them, and of course that sealed what was not a pretty win, but it was a great one.
20-14, the final. Big Ten champions, unbeaten in 11 games. Coach, it's amazing. People were talking about 3-4 losses for this team prior to the year, and you showed them all.
Well, Jim, I think when you have a bunch of guys that resolve and are determined to do something and believe in themselves and are unselfish in pursuit of their goals, anything can happen. I think this team is proof of that.
And the other thing that you did is each week you got them focused on one game at a time. It sounds trite, sounds corny, but really that's the way it had to be.
Well, I think that the responsibility of that goes to our seniors. We had great senior leadership. John Jansen did an outstanding job as a captain. Eric Mays, Jim, got hurt in the Indiana game early in the season, underwent knee surgery. after his operation, never missed a practice, and continued to be an instrumental leader on our team.
It was great. Oh, Lloyd, I got a little surprise for you. Back in 1971 was the last time Michigan went 11-0. I played on that team, and every time we come back for a reunion, we have golf shirts, and they say 11-0, the first and only. Coach, as a representative of that 71 Big Ten champion team, you take that to the kids and you tell them to erase the only, and we couldn't be more proud.
Well, Jim, I will. I've seen a lot of guys wear this, and I know there's a lot of Michigan football players that have played on great teams that are envious of this, and I know this team will be very proud to share that distinction with you.
You can take the only right off of that, because we're delighted to have another group that is unbeaten in 11 games.
Well, we're proud to join you.
Thanks, Coach.
And Jim, for you,
What's this?
for you, I had this made up.
Well, what, Jeff Omar, the tent maker, make it or what?
Hey, this is the championship T-shirt that was handed out in the locker room after the game, and we want you to have one.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that too, Coach. I can see this might get a place
Jim, I
of
should have
honor.
brought you a hat too.
You should have brought
nice
me a hat.
hats too.
Well, do that next time. You forgot.
You know what? Somebody took
That's the
mine.
first wrong
Somebody
thing.
took mine.
First wrong thing you've done this weekend.
I don't know about that.
Don't go away, everybody. When we come back, we'll meet the quarterback that almost wasn't, that led the Wolverines at an undefeated season. But first, we hear from Glenn Steele about the feeling being 11-0.
It's the greatest thing in my life. It really is. You know, the way these guys have worked hard all year round, and the way they played and the way they went out there. It showed courage. And then for me, being in my last home game, it's something that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
It was 9 or 10 months ago. Brian Griese was home in Florida deciding whether to come back to Michigan for a fifth year to play football. His father, former NFL great and current ABC announcer Bob Griese, was calmly laying out the pros and cons. The decision was hanging in the balance when Brian's older brother Jeff chimed in with his opinion.
He was going through a little training session with a new bank that he was a part of, and he was working about 10-hour days, and he said, "Brian, what are you doing? You have a chance to go back and play football for Michigan and possibly go to the Rose Bowl, and you want to come out and work like I'm working right now?" And I said, "Well, geez, Jeff, that's true, you know." So it hit me. I hadn't thought about it that way, but it hit me then.
A thank you note to Jeff Griese might be in order about now, because Brian has taken over the Michigan offense very nicely. And it hasn't been as easy a road as you might think. There have been comparisons to his dad. He has primarily been a backup until this season. It hasn't gone like the fairy tale script of, say, Peyton Manning. But through it all, the good and the bad, Brian Griese has persevered. He's never stopped working or believing. He's grown up, and he's in control.
The offense feeds off the defense, and so we don't need a quarterback who's intense or a hothead or running around the field, and that's not the type of player that I am. I like to be in control of what I'm doing and know what everybody around me is doing, and kind of be the calming factor on the field, and hopefully that'll be successful for us.
So thanks to the older brother who's working those 10-hour days in the bank, Michigan has a quarterback. As a matter of fact, Brian owes Jeff a thank you, because for Brian Griese these days, life is good.
I was talking with Tom Brady on the field before the game, and he really calmed me, because he said, "Hey, Griese, isn't this fun? I mean, we're going to the hotel, watching a movie, sleeping in a nice bed, and then you come here and all these fans, and it's just like out on a Saturday playing ball with your friends." And when I thought about it that way, I just relaxed and had fun, and it was a lot of fun.
The one thing Brian Griese said all year, he said, "I wanted to come back and have fun." And this kid has made a journey that's just been, I think, outstanding. One of the great stories of this undefeated team.
There isn't any question. When I checked him in last night, Jim, before bed check, the thing he told me, I said, "Are you scared? You nervous?" And he said, "Coach, I'm going out there and have fun." And that's what he did. I told him just before the game, I said, "You know, your old man never beat Ohio State three times."
Well, Brian Griese has done it 3 times. When we come back, a musical tribute to the defense. That's next on Michigan Replay.
it hasn't hit me yet, I don't think. You know, all these people out here, it'll, you know, when you start seeing, you know, the stuff going around and everything down at the building, you know, I guess it'll hit me. But right now, you know, I'm just in awe.
Breakups, they cause sacks, and that's what you need to win the game. I mean, everybody had to get to the ball, everybody had to play their position, and Andre, that's what he needed to do. That's what you need to take the ball, run down the sideline, and score for us.
You know, all year long, this Michigan defense has been absolutely outstanding. So we thought, what could we do to give tribute to the Michigan defense? We thought we'd do it with music. So here is our Michigan Replay tribute to the Michigan defense with music.
Give it to the deep man. Jensen putting it back up the middle. He's not going to have the first down. Michigan swarms him right at the line of scrimmage. They'll take over on down.
Now has Mazzell in his face. Throws. Unbelievable. Made a spectacular interception. And somehow landed with a foot in bounds.
2nd and 2 at the 23. He pumps once to the left. Oh, is he hit by the blitzing Sam Sword for a sack back on the 17th. Sword just ran right over him.
Put that last shot in just for the coach, but you told me on Saturday.
Did you choose the music for that?
No, I didn't choose the music for that one, and there is a bone of contention about that, but we're going to let it go.
I know the players will love it, Jim.
Well, the players will love it. They're probably the only ones who've ever heard that song. I'm just kidding, just kidding. Now, you told me on Saturday you gave the defense a little message. Everybody tell them how great they were.
Yeah, Jim, they had not scored all year. Now, how could you be a great defense if you haven't scored?
Well, guess what? They did.
Well, they're a great defense.
And all year long, they've done a great job. It really has been, you know, I haven't seen a defense take a crowd and really pull them into a game when the offense struggled. This defense was able to do that.
Jim, right from the get-go in the Colorado game, and I think they've maintained a consistency that you don't see very often, and that's really what helped us win this championship.
You know, you might be the #1 team in the country.
Well, we got a chance. We got to win one more and see what happens.
Be sure and tune in next week. We'll talk with Coach Carr a little bit more about the undefeated Big Ten champions for 1997, the Michigan Wolverines, right here on Michigan Replay.